Hey guys, what's going on? This is Abdurrahman Brachor speaking with Rahman and welcome back to my channel. So, today we're going to talk about a topic that has been ongoing in this society and in this 21st century for a long while. And that is why I want to talk about this topic because I think this is something very important to address in this setting and in this society right now. But before we start, um, yes, it snowed in Georgia, which is something real cool, and I really want to talk about this because the fact that it doesn't, I haven't seen snow in a fucking while, and it was so cool, you don't even understand. And because of it snowing, um, some certain people, I won't tell their names, but certain people might have dared me to take my shirt off and to be shirtless in the snow. And if you want to see that, DM me on Instagram. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I took my shirt off and I was shirtless in the snow. But yeah, that was fun. So the topic I want to talk about today is indeed mental health. Now, I made the video on this a while ago on my Instagram page, which if you haven't followed, I post stories there and like make people's day, try to make their day better. So go follow that link in the description. But mental health. Now, the reason I want to talk about mental health in not only the youth but the entire society ourselves is because this topic is quite overlooked. The reason is that several um, old school okay, 1 minute. I shut down for a second. But several old school misconceptions and old school thoughts and old school stereotypes still exist in this society right now. And that's the reason why they think that mental health and depression, anxiety, and these major topics aren't really important, and one cannot be diagnosed with mental health and one cannot feel sad. And that is the reason I want to talk about this topic, because this topic in the 21st century is at peak right now. The issue of mental health and the issue of depression and mental illness is quite important. Firstly, let's address something. There's a major difference between mental health and medical depression and having a depressive episode. A person might be sad and they're saying that it's depression, it's figurative. The one thing people don't understand is when someone generally says I'm depressed, it's figurative. They're not actually being are actually medically depressed. For one to be medically depressed or medically stressed out or medical PTSD, you need to tick quite a few boxes, and there's a lot of symptoms that one needs to have in order to be diagnosed with medical depression. But does that mean that if someone's sad, you just don't pay attention to it? Definitely not. Why? It's because of the fact that even though one is not medically depressed, the issue of sadness and depressive episodes and anxiety are quite important. Because you might not know, you might think that one's pain and one's sadness is quite immature or quite of a lower scale compared to yours, but the pain and the moments and the traumas that a person goes through are very important to them. And this is why people's perspective needs to change on why mental health in the youth is quite important compared to like 20th century. Even though cases existed back then, people really didn't give that importance. But now, because of technology and social media and other online or other variables, these issues have risen in the 21st century and need to be addressed. Firstly, let's talk about the reasons of why one could feel mentally depressed, or why one could just have a depressive episode and have some trauma. It could be related to work or school pressure. A lot of people face that nowadays, in which if they're overburdening themselves and if they have too much on their plate, or if they're in a toxic society in work or being bullied in school, a lot of people find these things an issue and find these things depressing because of the fact that if you're in a toxic society, you're being burnt out for because you're overburdening yourself and you have too much work on your plate. If you are getting bullied, it's just a reason because someone is being an asshole to you, but you don't deserve, and you're being picked on because of being the innocent kid in school, which is something people take quite seriously. as well as if you're just having some traumas of previous memories, which is quite important when it comes to even me. Even though I'm 16, even though I'm a teenager, people, me and people around me, other teenagers, they can relate to this because some of us have had those childhood traumas or even those past traumas in our past few years, which might not seem big enough to our elders, but actually are quite important because of the fact that they're important to us and because of the fact that we faced them and we were the one who encountered these issues. Those are the reasons why these issues are quite important to us and why they affect us in a different way to what people think they should affect us in. And this is something people quite overlook with elders as well, that you don't know what effect does work pressure, what effect does childhood trauma, what effect does overburdening and burning yourself out have on a person until you experience it yourself. And I have seen people who have overlooked this topic because of the same issue. And this is why I think this needs to be there needs to be importance raised on this topic because of the fact that you yourself know what you're going through right now, and it's painful for you, regardless of what people think. You know what you're facing is and how important it is to you. And that is why I want to tell people that it is okay to be sad. It's not, even if the society judges you, which is something that people take quite seriously, it is okay to be sad after failure, after any possible trauma in life. If you're sad, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being sad, regardless of your gender, regardless of your age. It doesn't matter. If you're sad, it has to be because of a major reason why. And that is why I think that being sad and like being emotional is not something that can be taken non-seriously, or can be said that that's immaturity because of the fact that you quite don't know what that person is facing. Moving on, what are the possible outcomes that this could lead to? This is something I needed to talk about because of the fact that people don't understand what are the possible outcomes of depression or just sadness itself. We have often heard the fact that person X committed suicide or person Y harmed themselves. Do you often ask yourself, why is this the case? Because a lot of people don't, and that is why a lot of people are quite non-serious about this topic. Sadness and depression and anxiety can lead to a lot of major issues in one's life. This could even go to outright death, which is something quite sad, and I hope that doesn't happen to the people around you or you yourself who are watching this video. This could lead to you harming yourself for a person or an object or anything that happened to you in your past life. This could also lead to serious addiction with drugs and alcohol and smoking, which is quite a real thing. And that is something that particularly parents, with all due respect to all the parents who are watching this video, you might not realize it, but if you ever catch your kid smoking or catch your kid addicted to drugs or alcohol, just think about why this happened. Because a lot of these issues are because of the reason of poor parenting. A lot of these mental health issues that kids face are the outcome of poor parenting and parents not paying attention. With all due respect to all the parents, you're really doing a good job, but just checking up on your kid from time to time, or just friends and family members who are watching this video, just checking up on any person from time to time won't harm you in any way, shape, or form. And it might help them as well. It might ease something off their brain. And this could really stop the possible outcomes of suicide rates, as well as people harming themselves, as well as addiction to drugs, alcohol, and other various harmful things. Next, I need to talk about it's okay. The fact that I say this sentence a lot in my videos, that it's okay, does mean that it holds a lot of importance to me, right? If you think that you're being immature, or you're being a kid if you cry or you're emotional or you open up, you actually aren't. That is a strong thing that people do. For you to express your emotions even in front of people or in front of yourself, that is a very strong habit that a lot of people cannot do. This is why people really suffer from depression and are diagnosed with depression, because they don't have that element of opening up and expressing their feelings. If you have that, that is actually a very good ability that people have. Obviously, I'm not saying that being depressed or being sad is a good thing, but expressing your feelings in front of people is actually a good habit that one's have. This will not only make you a little more fearless, but also will help you in your confidence. Because if you can share your fears and share your feelings in your darkest times, this is gonna make you confident in the times that you're nervous. It's gonna make you confident when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling stressed out. It's gonna make you confident, and it's gonna make you look at life from a way different perspective. Because I have been through these situations till now in my life. I couldn't open up to my even my friends or my family at one time, but when I did, it helped me a lot in building my confidence and building myself as a person itself. That is why I think that opening up and sharing your feelings is actually a good habit that people have. Next, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional, and it's okay to open up to people. You should open up to people. Why is that I say that you should open up to people when it comes to the fact of being sad? It's because the one reason people suffer from medical depression is keeping things into themselves and keeping things to themselves and being too I won't say self-centered, but being too secretive, if that's a word, and being too up to themselves and not opening up to people, which is quite a normal and humane habit people have. But just once, when you try to talk to somebody with who you trust, and you try to open up to somebody, you will see a change in yourself very quick. I've seen this with people around me, I've seen this with myself as well. Just trying to talk to someone and just trying to opening up can affect your life in a very positive way. And that's why I think that the point of therapy and the point of having a psychiatrist and visiting a psychiatrist is okay. If you need help, ask for help, because it won't make you look like an emotional asshole. It won't make you look like someone who's immature, or it won't make you look like a downgraded person. It will make you look like someone who's strong. And the reason I say that is because you opened up. Imagine the number of people who couldn't open up, who suffered from these things, and who basically outright died, which God forbid shouldn't happen to people. But imagine their fate because they just didn't open up. This is why I think the point of opening up and visiting a psychiatrist and a therapist is quite a good thing for people to do. And that is why I think the point of mental health in not only the youth, but the people, but even elders and people around us, the entire society, is quite important, and it cannot be overlooked. And the main purpose with me making these videos is just to share awareness about these topics. I think that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me just blabbering for like 14 minutes. And if you guys wanna see any other videos, any other ideas, leave them in the comments. Follow my Instagram, and I'll see you guys later.